Hey everybody, Nick here, and today we're going to do a little disassembly and maintenance for you on this little guy. This is the Protech Knives Sprint. So this is using, yep, looks like it, let's see here, SW1/16 Allen key for all of the screws, as a matter of fact. That's kind of nice of them. Yeah, that's going to be the only tool we're going to need, and let's go on ahead and jump into it. To start with, though, this is an automatic knife. That means it has a spring in here, which is going to actuate the blade and whatnot. That basically just means that you're going to have to pay close attention here to what's going on, because you don't want to accidentally have the blade come flying out as you're trying to disassemble it. Anytime there's spring tension and there are sharp objects, you need to be careful. But that's okay. Let's see here. It looks like actually I just lied to you, because we are going to need to remove the clip in order to get access to that screw, which is down there, and that will make things a great deal easier. And it looks like the clip is being held in place by T6 screws. Yeah, all right. So there is one T6 screw. By the way, look at these flat screws. That's how you can tell Protech makes great clips, because they're using flat screws on their clips, which allow their deep carry clips to actually be deep carry. So there you go. There we go. Let's align those there. All right, now we can finish taking this little guy apart. I actually already did a disassembly video of not only the Protech Runt, which is a very similar knife, although different in its own little way, but also of the Protech Half-Breed. A long time ago, I had a Half-Breed on my table, and I did a full disassembly of it, but the problem was that that video ended up getting corrupted and lost to time. And so as a result, I don't have a review of the Half-Breed anymore, and I don't have its disassembly. That's unfortunate, but that's life. And so what I've actually done is I picked up another Half-Breed here, partly because I wanted to do the direct comparison for California knives, but also, you know, just it's life. And so I have gone ahead and pulled these guys apart. One thing to note is that they are using a red thread locker here, but they appear to, that's the weird thing with Protech, is there's always a red thread locker, but it doesn't ever seem to lock the threads. I don't freaking get it in the least. But whatever it is, it's fine. We will live. But this disassembly will be the same for the Protech Sprint here and the Half-Breed, as well as the Newport, which uses the same sort of handle, just with a different blade there. The question is just whether you're removing the clip that is a bigger clip or the clip that is a smaller clip. Ultimately, they function in the same way. And so, yeah. Anyways, there we go. And we can go ahead and pop this guy apart and take a look and see what's on inside here. Okay, immediately what you see in here, by the way, is there is a button lock, and this button lock has a spring here. You don't want to lose this spring. That's an important spring. Then what we're going to do is we're going to pop the blade off of this guy, and what we're going to see on the bottom of the blade here is a little torsion spring, like this. It creates kind of a torquey force on this guy, and that spring seats down into this little groove, which you can probably see. Oh, damn it. You can see right there. And that's actually what is providing the motive force for this guy to go flick out of there. That's the sound it makes, by the way. So anyways, there you go. And in terms of maintenance, honestly, this is a very easy knife to make. I'm sorry, not to make, to maintain. I don't know, it's, what the heck do I know about making knives? But anyways, it is nonetheless an easy knife to maintain, because actually what you're going to see here is there are no washes, there were no, really, there's not a lot to this guy. All that it really is this DLC, or the anodized, or whatever you want to call it, aluminum, serves as the washer here. The DLC blade slides against it. That's actually not completely unreasonable. DLC, assuming this is actually a DLC, is good for removing friction, or at least reducing it. And so, you know, and it works fine. It's an automatic. It's not like you need a super falshutty, you know, smooth action on it. The spring is going to overpower it anyways. Sorry, guys, a skunk just let it rip out there. Oh, boy. Wait, is that a skunk or a stoner? Either way, it's ugly. There we go. So anyways, sorry, I got the window open. You're probably hearing the birds out there. Hearing some poor bastard getting their dog skunked, likely. It's the joy of overlooking Greenbelt and whatnot. But, oh, boy, that's potent. Holy crap, guys. Yeah. Alrighty, back at the freaking ranch. So, we are continuing this disassembly. Wow, these are not the hazards they tell you about when YouTubing. We are going to go ahead and put this guy back together because it is fully cleaned up here. Ay, 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 ay. And so what we're going to go ahead and use for this is actually the 85 weight nano oil here. The reason I'm using the 85 weight, holy crap, is that... Sorry, guys, I'm trying my best to keep it together here when... Yeah, that's a thing. But I'm using the 85 weight nano oil. It's a little bit thicker. It should stay in position. And we don't need that kind of free dropping action. I'm going to shut the window. I'm sorry, guys. This is ridiculous. Holy crap. Alrighty. Oh, man. Back at the ranch, we don't need the super low friction sort of action that 10 weight gives us. And so instead, we're going to go ahead and use the 85 weight here. And that's just fine. It'll stay in the position that we want it in and whatnot. Yeah, so there you go. Oh, it's 10 a.m. That means I got that smell in my life all damn day long. Life, alas. So anyways, here's how we're going to work this from here. What we have to do is actually make sure that we place the blade into the handle in such a way that this spring, that the little tongue on the spring here, I'll try and zoom in a little bit. We want to make sure that the tongue of this spring lands in the groove of the handle right here. And so, let's see here. Hold on. I'm trying to get things... There we go. So we're going to go ahead and kind of reassemble it such that I drop that into here. The thing is, like, naturally speaking, the spring doesn't want to align. We have to have things specially aligned for this to happen. So we're going to drop the spring into there. And right now, mind you, the groove, I'm sorry, the blade is not in a position it could ever naturally be in. But I've got the spring in the groove there, and so what I'm going to do is kind of twist the blade. There went that little spring for the button lock. But either way, now we are at a point where the blade is seated, the spring is in place and tensioned, and we are ready to reinstall the button lock, which actually has a trick. But first off, there is another trick, which is finding that spring. As you can tell here, guys, I am just batting a freaking 1,000 here this morning. There it is. Alrighty. So... repositioning the button lock spring is, actually there's a trick to it. And this is a trick that I figured out over a long and hard-fought Instagram live stream. Because you can't actually just drop this into place. That's sort of the nature of a button lock, is that it can't clear naturally. So what you actually have to do is very, very, very slightly lift the blade here while applying downward pressure to the button lock button. And that will allow you... Come on. To slip that button lock into the groove as we need it to be slipped. Come on, people. Pop up. But the problem is if you come too far up, of course, you're going to unseat that spring. Wow, my phone is just not having a great time this morning. There we go. Okay, so now it's popped through and is now being held in position by the blade itself. So this is where you want things to be at this stage in your life. Then what we're going to do is reseat the stop pin and everything up here. And to do that, you might have to actually press the button lock down and get everything into alignment there. Now at this point in time, good, we are all set. Pinching the scales together, we can now verify the functionality of things. Fires, it's automatic, it's properly sprung, we're good to go. And now what we can do is, there we go. What we can now do is start the reassembly process here. They used some kind of a red thread locker and or red nail polish. I'm not entirely sure which, but the funny thing about this is I'm thinking to myself, oh, this is great. This is going to be one disassembly video for the Sprint, the Newport, the Half-Breed, all of them. Everybody's going to come watch this video, and they're going to watch me be not a brilliant man with poor camera focus and a skunk desperately trying to kill me olfactorily. Of all the videos I want 3 different groups of audience to watch, this is not among them. But that's okay. Anyways, I'm using some blue Loctite, and if you ever have questions about the disassembly tools I'm using, I have a video on disassembly toolkit, knife disassembly toolkit. I keep it up to date, so there you go. But yeah, so anyways, there we go. We're using this little hex driver here, like I said, that's 1/16, and we should be able to take it from there going forward. Alrighty, pop this into position here. And now we can just pop the pivot into place. Now, I'm not going to super tighten this down at this point because, well, I still need to reinstall the clip. And because, well, yeah, there's no need yet. I'll put the clip into place here. The question of whether I can drop these screws in through the top of the clip or not is a valid one. Okay, so I've got the screw in there. I just kind of dropped it in. Now I'm going to use the clip itself to press this against the Loctite. There we go. And now holding it up above there. Perfect. That slid in there and Loctited down. Beautiful. I'm hoping I can drop this through the top as well. I'm going to use the driver there to hold the screw to get the Loctite. Oh, you bastard. Come on. Ah. Fiddly little tiny screws. Something that I am still not quite so skilled at dealing with. I would not make a great watchmaker at this point. Okay, so right now it is reassembled, but it has some substantial blade play. That is not something that's incredible to me. Yeah. There we go. Still a little play in. That's something that I've actually noticed out of the box from a lot of Protechs. Whoever's doing their initial assemblies is leaving blade play in them. And considering that this thing voids, that doing any of this is voiding your warranty substantially. Sorry, phone's blowing up. That's really ugly. Loosen back up again. Let's tighten that just a little bit more. There we go. Fires reliably, zero play. But that's how you fix that, is just by adjusting the pivot tension, tightening this down a little bit further. But anyways, there you go. I am going to go like light 15-scented candles and, cover my entire body in oil of wintergreen. And then, try not to, oh, damn it, I was about to eat breakfast, too. But anyways, have yourselves an absolutely wonderful rest of the day. And on the bright side, your disassembly should go way smoother than mine, unless you've got yourself some pretty excellent problems down the road. There you go. Hope this has been interesting to you, and have yourselves just an absolutely wonderful and way less smelly than this rest of your day. Bye now.